All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Okay, here we go.
Where the plays get broken down and science gets denied.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
Hour 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Raising Cane studio.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 of OTB. Want to remind you about KTZ Interiors and Outdoor Living. Go to ktozblinds.com, ktozblinds.com on the North Shore in Lafayette here in Baton Rouge. Find that contact information on their website. It's interior and outdoor living. Having Brandon Barton and the team come out to your space, know your space, learn your space, change your space, ktozblinds.com. All right, back here, obviously talking Brian Kelly. Getting fired at LSU, now searching for your next football coach in the next couple of weeks. And probably in the next segment is when we're going to start to maybe speculate and throw out some names and who could be the next head coach of the Tigers. We'll take another look here what the Brian Kelly tenure looked like. He comes in 2022, 10-4 overall, 6-2 in league play. Of course, gets to the SEC championship game, loses to Georgia. The next year, 2023, 10-3, 6-2 in league play. 2024, 9-4 overall, 5-3 in league play. And this year, 5-3, 2-3 in the SEC. A total win-loss record at LSU, 34-14. In conference play, 19-10. So, like, those numbers in themselves, not up to the standard of what you want to get done at LSU, but, certainly not the worst record that you've seen. Where it goes bad is versus top 25 teams, 5-11. That's what cannot happen, is you going 5-11 against the best teams that you play. You started 2022 not ranked, and you got up to number 16 in the final poll. Good job. After that, you never replicated that. In 2023, you were number 5 preseason. You finished number 12. In 2024, preseason 13, you finished not ranked. This year, number 9 in the preseason. And a lot of people thought that was maybe a little too low because of what you had coming back, and you're not ranked right now, and it's going to take a lot for you to fight your way back into the top 25. So you look at, like, the overall record, it can be misleading because even like the conference record, it's 19-10. It's not awful, but it's awful for LSU standards, right? You want to be in the conversation. You want to have a seat at the table, and the seat is at the SEC championship game there in Atlanta. You get there your first year, and you had opportunities certainly last year, and you don't get back to play for an SEC championship game. And again, 5-11 versus top 25 teams.
It's not good, Jake. Not good at all. Now, look at that overall record, too. We talked about it, how, certainly not nearly up to the standard that has been set here at LSU. And it just seemed like every year was, all right, I don't know, they kept getting a pass for excuses, right? Whether it's talent or whether it's whatever it is. But I look at 2023 season, like, seriously, if Jaden Daniels didn't put on a Superman cape and play the quarterback position for the LSU Tigers and be able to score at any given time, like, literally play probably one of the best seasons at quarterback in college football history. What is that record? They're a 6-6 football team.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe.
Yeah. There's games that Jaden took over with Malik and with BTJ for sure, but to your point, how many games did he just say, hey, I'm going to go 85 real quick on the ground? Hey, I'm going to throw for 330.
Like, you don't get that very often, like in offense, that it's like you feel comfortable. Like, once they step on the field, no matter if they get it on their own half-yard line or they get it on the 50, whatever it is, like, you were like, yeah, they're going to score. They're going to at least get 3 out of this thing. But they don't get 3 a lot. They'll probably score a touchdown most of the time. Like, I'm just saying, you look at the overall record and, like, okay, it's not up to the standard, but it's still not bad. Man, it could have been, 6 games in the opposite direction, too.
Yeah.
If that Jaden Daniels literally doesn't have a Superman cape. No, you can't take that away. Got it. He got him to come there. Great. But that was a quite an anomaly of a player and an offense in college football. So I think it just kind of adds to what everybody's thinking, that it's not a good enough record, and it probably should have been a little bit worse.
People already speculating in the chat, like maybe some names that they want there. Before we get to names, and again, that's going to be in the next segment. I think you do have to take a look at some of your established head coaches and how it's gone for them in this new day and age that we're in college football and college athletics. You look at Dabo Swinney, you look at Coach Saban, who he didn't want any part of that. It wasn't the game that he grew up loving and won multiple championships.
And he still
Coach Saban he talks about it often.
Doesn't want it.
Could he still go out there and be successful? Yeah, probably so, but I don't even know to his standard if he could. Brian Kelly, and we could go Mike Gundy. We could go on and on and on and give you a list, right? Like, it's different. It is different now. And so when you start to look at it, this can't be a look at this resume hire. Now, you got to have things on your resume. But look, when you brought Brian Kelly in, there was excitement because of all the wins that he had and what he had done at Notre Dame, and he had played for a national championship. And at the time, I think there was only 3 current coaches that had national championships. So it wasn't like the list was long as far as the people that you could get here. And, Jimbo Fisher was one of them, and Scott talked with Jimbo, and Jimbo decided to stay at A&M. So you even talked to one of those guys, right? And so, that was a good resume, and it can get you excited. And that was really when college football was starting to change. Now, you take a look at, man, this guy for the last 15 years has done this. I just don't think it means as much because we're in a different time. We're in a different landscape. I'm not saying, you got to have something on your resume that is the last 4 years relevant. The last 4 years impressive.
Yeah. And we have no idea what direction LSU is going to go. I think we don't even know right now who's going to be the final say in that decision-making process. Will it be Woodward? I don't know. There's all sorts of gossip. There's all sorts of rumors happening right now. And at this point in time, that's what it is. I mean, it's speculation.
Yeah.
Was Woodward involved in the Brian Kelly deal? Did the board and the governor and all these different things happen? What has actually taken place? That kind of truth will reveal itself, but who is going to be in charge of making this hire is the big question. And what will they be looking for? We can sit here and say what we hope. We hope it's, this or that. But I can tell you the one thing you cannot do is handcuff yourself to another similar type contract.
Right.
That is something that can handicap a entire organization. I mean, Jimmy Sexton right now has got to be licking his chops. I mean, my God. The openings, the vacancies.
He owns half
of them.
Contracts in college football.
I hope personally, we don't go the established, long-term, established at one play, the James Franklin type route.
No.
That's something you cannot do.
No.
I think it's going to be a younger guy.
No.
Please say no. Please say no.
No.
I know, and then of course I know Lane Kiffin is everybody's Lane Kiffin. But do we really to get Lane Kiffin? You have to do a similar type contract that you just did, and you're going to be in a bidding war with Ole Miss. You're going to be in a bidding war with Florida. So got to be careful what you wish for there.
Yeah.
Not saying it can't work out, but there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
And this is one where whoever's making the decision just can't take the flashy first person. Oh, we've done that. We did that already. The guy that's going to be in the Hall of Fame and long-term established and
sure,
blah, blah,
yep.
blah. Okay, cool. Well, let's figure out who's a really, really good football coach, a guy that knows ball, a guy that is involved in every aspect, a guy that his life is football.
A Jim Harbaugh type. I'm not saying Jim Harbaugh. Look, he's quirky, I know, but that type. When Jim Harbaugh speaks, it's only in football terms because that's all he knows.
And I want a guy that comes in and is going to command a room with respect, not with talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
A guy that comes in and it's you don't want to mess with this guy. You don't want to cross this guy because he's going to establish boundaries. I want a guy that comes in and establishes the boundaries with the administration on the front end. You walk into that office and you have an interview, and they're like, this is our guy. I don't know who that is. That guy can come from a small school. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's not the flashy guy.
Oh, no.
I want a guy that loves
We've
ball,
been there.
can commit to this state, and commit to those 3 letters on the jersey.
Attacks.
I don't have the answer.
Every day with enthusiasm unknown to mankind. It's a Jim Harbaugh saying.
Love that.
Yeah.
So we got like a gossip list.
Well, yeah. And
Get some hot goss.
In the next segment, we'll spend some time on that. There's some chat about like what the LSU job is inside our Bayou
it's the
Ford
best
chat.
job.
And the names now are like email addresses, so I don't know the name. EMSA, is that in the midstream ads? Duh. Okay, I put it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll disagree with you that the Tennessee job is on the same level as the LSU job. And look, you're entitled to that opinion. Tennessee is a good job, so I'm not disagreeing there. Here's why LSU is a top 3 job. As we just were shown last night, there's a deep desire to be great. $53 million buyout, we'll find a way. All right? You look at Tiger Stadium, it's got whatever bell and whistle you have to add to your stadium, it's got it. When you look at what they spent on the roster this year, when you look at the national championship access, when you look at outside of Alabama, it's LSU and Ohio State that are tied for the second most natties last 25 years, right? So if you're in a group with Alabama, Ohio State, you're doing something right in college football. You are, without question, the big dog in the state of Louisiana. And look, there's some good football. Tulane's a great football team. They got a great coach, and they got Jimmys and Joes for sure. So not throwing shade, but that part is what it is. And per capita, Louisiana has the most players in the National Football League. You got a talent pool to choose from, unlike anybody else, right? Because Tennessee does not have that. Like the state of Tennessee doesn't have that. Now, the state of Georgia, it does. But you've got teams that are certainly close enough, even out-of-state teams, that are going to pull themselves into your state. And, hey, Georgia Tech's the number 8 team in the country right now. So you have competition. Florida, great high school football. You've got competition. I would say Ohio and Ohio State's probably the only comp that I would have. And Ohio State, kind of a standard of college football, right? So, like, all those things paired together, the talent that you have, the resources you have, the proof in winning championships, all of that. Like, no matter where you go in this state, it's LSU fan. Shreveport, Lafayette, Houma, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Monroe, doesn't matter. There's LSU everywhere. So, with what the LSU job is, knowing that you're going to have Tiger Stadium and you're going to have Louisiana to choose from and you're going to have everything that you want, need, desire, it's a top 3 job, in my opinion, top 5 no matter who you ask in the country. So your job's not like other jobs, and you should treat it as such. You should have the confidence to go in and speak to whoever you want to speak to, not in a cocky way, but in a confident way. And knowing you should not settle for anything, knowing that you should be able to compete for whatever coach you want and the right coach. And that's on the LSU brass to be able to decide who that is. And there's a lot of rumors who that's going to be. We don't know. You don't have a school president right now. That's troublesome. One's coming probably in the next, couple weeks? That's the word.
What did we say? We hadn't had a president
since May?
Since May, yeah.
When Tate announced he was going to Rutgers.
Yep.
So you got an opportunity to do whatever you want to do because you are LSU. Now you got to go out there and do it. You got to execute.
And you got to get it right. You got to get it right because, there is already probably going to be a pretty big exodus of talent and players this year, I would think. That's any program. That's any time you get a coaching shift, a coaching change, because there's going to be a window now that guys can transfer with no repercussions or anything like that. But if you get it right, you have an opportunity to mitigate that for one. But we got to see. We got to see who's making that decision. Like you said, there's no president at LSU right now. That's why they're the board and the reports, at least. Now, this is not confirmed or anything, but the reports at least that the Governor Landry, the Board of Supervisors, they all met, trying to figure out. Everyone's trying to get the game plan, but there's going to be a lot of names. There's going to be a lot of rumors. There's going to be a lot of speculation. This thing isn't going to happen fast. Now all we can do is support Frank Wilson, who's the interim head coach right now, and cheer for the boys wearing LSU on the helmet the rest of the season. And then hopefully internally, more stuff will come out every single day, more and more information every single week. Hopefully we get that right. Hopefully the process. But to Jake's point, LSU is one of the top 3 jobs in the country when it comes to college football. Because of the fan base, because of the support, because of the talent pool, because of being the only big school in the state.
That has a deep desire to be great in football.
A deep desire, a history, a recent history, a success. 3 national championships since 2000. Another appearance. Multiple Heisman winners. Like that's the multiple, like always having one of the at least the top 1, 2, or 3 NFL guys in the NFL from LSU. That's all there. That's not at other places. That's not Tennessee. Those two are not the same. Now Tennessee's a great job, but LSU is an elite job. You should have that confidence to go and say if we want it, we can go pull anybody. But I just would warn them, don't always go for the flashy guy.
Yeah.
Do your recruiting. You got to understand. You got to look inside of them, look in their heart, see what they want, see like how they've run a program, and has to be somebody that comes in and resets the standard, resets that grit that we talk about.
Yeah.
You said it on Twitter great last night. It's got to be changed. The mentality. We too many times in the last couple of years since Kelly has been here, we have been the nail and not the hammer. That has to change. That's the embarrassing part. That's the part that pisses off former players, pisses off fans that have seen it. Even if we lost the game, that team was still beat up.
Yes. That team knew they played LSU.
That team did not have their fans overtake a student section. You know why? You know why people are leaving? Yeah, okay. You got it, traffic. Weather wasn't great. The game day experience, like whatever. TV's great. Awesome. But at some point, the games became not fun to watch.
It's fair.
Okay?
I've heard that from a lot of people.
The product wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as people expected it to be. Yeah, sure. You're always going to have problem with people leaving early. But people leaving that early, I can't blame them. Hell, I did it. Okay? Like I sat there in South Carolina and I watched the first half and I'm like, man, this isn't even fun to watch. Like this is not, like this isn't us. This isn't who like I know is LSU. So whoever we bring in has to reset that standard, has to reset that mentality, and let people know that if LSU is not the hammer, there's an issue. Changes need to be made.
Yeah, and there's bright spots on this roster. There really is. Like you go back and even this tape, like there was finally some things that were changed.
There was some good takeaways, actually. Strangely enough.
There was enough takeaways. Now, you've got some issues in some spots. Do not get me wrong. You have got some issues, but there's bright spots, and whoever comes in has got to try to save those bright spots, change the culture, and bring in some new bright spots. Like, think about the guys you brought in the defensive backfield. Those guys are giving you everything they got. Mm-hmm. They've been at LSU for months, not years, months, and it looks like it means more to them than almost anybody out there. Like A.J. Halsey, definitely got a stinger in the first half, minimum.
Dog. He's an absolute dog.
He came back in the second half. I'm like, oh man, he might have to play a little timid here. First play he was involved in, he knocks the runner 3 yards out of bounds. Like that guy.
He made a play on the goal line too.
Just got here,
saved the touchdown. That guy gets it, man.
Yeah.
That guy is a dog.
Yes, like if he just gets here and he can do that, that's who he is. But now you got to demand that everybody's like that. Everybody has that, right? The next head coach has to, non-negotiable, when you have that meeting with him, get that. and bring that back to LSU football. All right, we'll take a break. More OTB when we come back live from the Raising Cane studio.
Off the bench.
All right, go to russellpools.com, Russell Pool Company. Your dream pool is different than your neighbor's dream pool, right? Because it's your dream. It's your pool. And it's what you've been dreaming about maybe your entire life. And so when you work with Russell Pool Company, the cool thing is you sit down with them and you tell them exactly what you're looking for. And look, they're going to help you out too. They've been in business for a long time. They're going to know what, looks best. They're going to know which direction everything needs to go. They're going to make sure they have the layout just right. They're going to work with you. They're going to listen to your dreams, what you're looking for, and you're going to build your dream pool together. Go to russellpools.com.
That's right, Russell Pools. Your name when you think of high-quality custom pools. And look, there's a lot of pool companies out there. We get that. But Russell Pools is the premier company. You know why? Because they can take your dream from reality. Everything in-house right there. 2 landscape architects right there. They can dream it. If you want Beth Torina's pool, a lot of chat about that. A lot of talk about that in the chat. If you want that one, whatever. Whatever you can dream of, they can do it right there. russellpools.com.
...2007 champs, purple and gold to the core. This is Off the Bench with Hester and Flynn. Baton Rouge's go-to for all things Louisiana sports.
All right, welcome back in, OTB, live from the Raising Cane studio. Remind you about Pelican Roofing, pelicanroof.com. Remember, they're giving away a roof to a veteran. So if you want to nominate a veteran, very cool deal they've got going on. Top right corner of the website, click on community, drag down to it. You'll see it right there in that tab. Click on it, fill it out, and bless somebody, because Pelican Roofing is going to bless somebody with a free roof for a veteran. Very cool deal. Again, they don't have to do that, but they want to do that, and they want to be in the local communities in Lafayette, in Baton Rouge, boots on the ground in both pelicanroof.com. All right. So, look, we'll certainly get back to talking about, what went wrong, how we got here in all of that, and all the things that didn't happen, that needed to happen, that just never did, and fully being bought into what this job is, what this job deserves, and all of that. But there's going to be speculation over the next couple of days and weeks, because not only is LSU open, but there is a host of jobs that are open. You have Florida, you have Penn State, you have Arkansas, you have Oklahoma State, you have all these jobs. And you're not in the same market as coaches that Oklahoma State and Arkansas are in. That's not disrespectful. That's just the truth. That's just cold, hard facts. You are probably going to be in some of the conversations with whoever Penn State and Florida are in on. Now, do I have LSU 1, probably Penn State 2, Florida 3 in that? I do, and I think a lot of people would. Or, some version of LSU 1 and Penn State, Florida, depending on how you want to put those in those spots, okay? So you're going to have an ear to the ground. You're going to have to find out what all the movers and shakers are saying. You're going to have to find out, your list, what's their list, and what does all of that look like, okay? What do we think they're looking for? What do we think is realistic in their next hire? I think we've laid out, you can't just go look at the resume from 15 years in the totality of it and what they've done the last 15 years. The last 15 years don't matter. They do not matter. The game has changed. It changed 4 or 5 years ago. What have you done for me lately is the conversation we need to have, because lately is what the game is now. What can you do moving forward? What have you adapted to? Because there's so many coaches that have impressive resumes, but they have not adapted to what you have to do. Now, that's not the only thing, because like we said, you got to come here because you want to come here and make it better and fully buy in, shut the door, lock it, and throw away the key, like we said in hour number 1, and get ready to work your ass off. Just because this is the best job doesn't mean it's an easy job. That expectation is there because it was set. This isn't a country club job. That's not what this job is. This is a too gritty to be pretty job. That's got to be your mentality. And if it's not, don't come here. You don't need to be here. If you don't want to be in the building past 5:30, if you don't want to be here during the off season, if you don't want to be here during the bye weekend, this is not the job for you. You got to want to be here, and it's got to be family, LSU football. Those are it. those are the things that are your priorities. Mm-hmm. So sure. when we think about it, when we start to think about possibilities, is there names? Is there just a general direction that you want to go in?
Well, look, we kind of talked about, we were talking about a different job opening. We were talking about Florida last week. After, what was it, 2 weeks ago? After Billy Napier got fired, we were talking about like the coaches that are doing so well, and about how those most of the coaches that you would look at right now aren't even an option because they're so ingrained into that school. You talk about Clark Lee. Like, Clark Lee is Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Through and through.
No doubt.
Brent Key. Like
Georgia Tech.
Through and through.
Like that's what you know about that man from the very first conversation you have about it.
Right. So you got all these guys that would be great candidates. But in this day and age in college football, with NIL, like these schools that have not been able to compete and be relevant now can with the right leader. Like sometimes that right leader, like just like the two examples we just gave, like those guys, more than likely, I mean, I never say never, but like Vanderbilt's going to pay him. Georgia Tech is going to pay.
Yep. And that place means something to them.
That place means something. Like, so you're not going to find. So, yeah, I mean, you could start listing off names, and no one's going to be wrong right now. If you start listing, if you say Gruden, you're not going to be wrong. You can say it just for fun.
You can say it laugh. No. You can, but I don't need to see any more bad edits of John Gruden in any college football.
Dude, ChatGPT has been busy over the last, making so many different images. My God. I don't know.
Look, and I love John Gruden. He's awesome to listen to, like his football mind. But no, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that.
Yep. I mean, obviously, right now the names being thrown out there. I mean, Lane Kiffin's at the top of everybody's list, being thrown out there. Whether he's going to be interested or not, I know the price tag's going to be high. I know his agent's licking his lips right now for sure. Other names being thrown out there: Dan Lanning. We talked about you were your guy from Mizzou with two Z's. M-I-Z, whatever. Don't.
Z-O-U.
Thank you.
I'll admit, probably a decent coach.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
You think Drake's pretty decent coach?
Yeah, I was trying to think outside the box a little bit too. Of course, all just like thinking, just pulling stuff out of the air. Coming off a big win 2 weeks ago about the cat over in Louisville.
Jeff Brom played there.
Yeah,
played
it very Louisville.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be sought after at some point. I think I looked it up. He's like the anti-James Franklin. He's 4-1 against top 5 opponents in his career at Purdue and Louisville.
Yeah.
So anti-James Franklin.
He is obviously somebody that played at Louisville. His brother Brian, who you play with, were teammates with. He's the offensive coordinator. He played at Louisville, so like it means a lot to them. He's making $5.6, I believe, million this year. So obviously, like a place like LSU would give him about double his money. But that place again, like. Clark Lee played at Vanderbilt. Brent Key played at Georgia Tech. Jeff Brom played at Louisville. And I'm not saying it's the only way because, we've seen that not work in a lot of places before. But my whole point in bringing that up is it would be very difficult, I think, to get them away from their school.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So ESPN.com gave out some of who they think potentially could be the list. And they gave out 5 candidates. Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin, Tulane coach John Sumrall, Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman, Georgia Tech coach Brent Key, Missouri coach Eli Drinkwitz.
There we go.
I don't know. Like for Marcus Freeman, like I just don't.
No, I think we've gone down the Notre Dame route.
Yeah, and I think
Notre Dame.
I think Marcus Freeman's a hell of a football coach. I think Marcus Freeman gets the times that we're in. I think Marcus Freeman would do better than what you've been the last couple of years? I do. I just think Marcus gets it. But you just went down that same path.
Yeah, I don't think the optics for the fan base would be good on that.
Mark's pretty happy at Notre Dame too.
Yeah. I don't think the optics is just going just from the Notre Dame aspect of things. Certainly wouldn't be great for me. I like Marcus. I think he's a hell of a coach. Played against him. Did you run him over?
I mean,
did you get him good?
Probably.
This guy says. This guy. I
mean, what?
Probably. Does he play on the team I played against?
Look, I had
probably crushed him.
I had one trick in my bag, and that's what it was. Okay.
Hey, our chat is lighting up right now for Kelvin Shepard.
Love him. He's been a D coordinator for half a season so far. Love Kelvin Shepard.
Good energy.
Shep loves the NFL. I just want to let y'all know.
Good
Love
energy.
Kelvin
Shep
Shepard.
loves the NFL, the National Football League, and that's the league that he wants to be a coach in.
Shep's awesome.
He's incredible. And if he ever wanted to be a head coach, anybody would be lucky to have him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he really enjoys being the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. A lot.
You can tell.
Yeah.
He looks like he's having a little fun out there.
So, of these names, John Summerall obviously is different because, I mean, Lane's in the SEC, Marcus Freeman's at Notre Dame, Brent Key has Georgia Tech as a top 10 team in the country at the ACC, and Drink's an SEC coach. I think a lot of Eli Drinkwitz. Y'all know that. Y'all have heard me talk about him before. I think he's a hell of a football coach. He's won double-digit games back-to-back years at Mizzou. He's going to do it again this year. So I think Drink is certainly a candidate that you should consider. Brent Key's somebody that if you want to get back to the DNA of what LSU football was, Brent Key's probably the best answer there. We've already talked about Marcus Freeman, and we'll continue to talk about Lane Kiffin, but John Summerall is certainly a name to pay attention to because he's probably the biggest name of the group of 6 guys, right, to make that jump to the Power 4. Like, he's the hottest name there.
Yeah, I'll just, we're going to be interested on who is going to be making that decision, so we'll be excited to figure it out. For right now, let's go, Frank. Let's get those boys right.
We do have some more LSU news. As we said at the beginning of the show, Matt said it. It's going to continue to come throughout the day. We'll give you the latest and the greatest as we're
going to break down the game as well.
We find out a new nugget here in the LSU football program, and we'll have that for you when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to Gulf Coast Office Products, the website there, gcopnet.com. We all know, right? If you're in that profession of having an engineering firm or you got a law firm, schools, universities, banks, whatever it is, right? You need the document when you need it. You don't need it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You need it right now. And so, if anything happens with GCOP on your side, you're going to talk to a human being who's going to help you right then, right there, make sure that everything is where it needs to be and when it needs to be there. GCOPnet.com.
That's right. Gold Coast Office Products, your Louisiana's leader in printers and copy and service. And we know that paper trail is a lifeline of any office, but what really sets Gulf Coast apart isn't the tech, it's the people. Their award-winning local service team responds fast, keeps you up and running, and treat your business like it's their own. When you call them, you're not going to get one of those robots. You're going to talk to an actual person that can get your office, get that paper trail back up and running. Give them a call. They are the best. GCOPnet.com.
From the locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
All right, welcome back in. OTB here live from the Raising Cane's studio. This just comes across the wire. I saw Delhi had it maybe first. Doesn't really matter. Pete Thamel had it as well. LSU has dismissed the offensive coordinator, Joe Sloan. The move comes with LSU ranked number 12 on offense in the SEC. Of course, he spent 4 years on the staff. A couple as quarterback coach and a couple as co-offensive coordinator, even though he was obviously the play caller. LSU's offense was among the top 10 in passing offense and top 25 in total offense in the country last year under Sloan. But, of course, those numbers have dipped here this season. And it's been egregious, some of the things that we've seen on film. It's been some elementary stuff. And it's been things that just can't happen. Like the other night. And, again, we're not going to get into the breakdown of the game like we want to today because obviously the news your head coach gets fired. But so at some point, certainly with the bye week and us having some extra time here, we'll get into it. When we show you the passing chart of this game, you're not going to believe us. You're just not going to. You're going to say, no, that's just, you gave Harlow, your 2-year-old daughter, a marker and said, hey, place dots on this piece of paper, but you can't do it in the middle. You can't do it. There's tape, crime scene tape in the middle of the football field, and you can't put a dot there.
Yep.
That's what it looks like because, woof.
Yep. It wasn't good.
The RPO stuff, the behind the stick stuff, the screen passes on 3rd and 7, the draws on 3rd and a country mile, just it had gotten to a point where there was no return.
Look, it was just the offense was, I'm not even going to say that it needs to be more creative. It wasn't a creativity issue. It was an issue where it got into where it just wasn't. They just run like real football plays out there, like run normal passing concepts. The answers that we had in big down and distances, the answers that we had when it mattered were the same, and they were reused and recycled, and everything was outside of the hash, outside of the numbers. Like how many, like every pass, even passes that were completed the other day in the game, it all looked hard, like hitch routes to the far side of the field versus a corner that's sitting on a hitch route. Yeah, sure, we completed it sometimes, and it's great when you complete it and the things get overlooked, but everything it just looked hard. We complete one pass over the middle of the field to Aaron Anderson. Makes a big play, explosive gain. Great. We didn't do it anymore.
No.
Now, a lot of it certainly is play design and play calling and your lack of creativity. And a lot of your answers are like, we're going to run hitch routes and comeback routes to the outside. And our seam routes, we're not even going to look at them. Our seam routes, I'm watching our guys get vertical down the field, and they're not running them correctly. They're not being put in position to attack the middle of the field a lot of time. We're not running inside breaking routes. Just not putting guys in a good position. And then, of course, I don't know how many thousands of times we can say it on the show and do film breakdowns, but like wide receiver screens and just bad play calls these are things that get you beat. And I know there's been a lot of rumors coming out recently about, like, did Brian Kelly take over some of the play calling? Did he, would he chime in and be like, no, run this play, run that play? I don't know. We're not on the headsets, but it sure could have. It disrupts it. And Joe Sloan, look, he's been a part of some good offenses here. Last year, Nussmeier played great. Nussmeier has been a shell of himself this year. Yeah. Now, I could say that the plays have been also worse, but his play hasn't been great. Yeah. So that
protection's been horrible.
Protection's been bad. He hasn't been able to read it out. I think he sees ghosts sometimes. I think he's playing, but as a coach, it's your job to develop that. Yeah. It's your job to get him comfortable. It's your job to run passing plays where you can get your quarterback in a rhythm, get him out of the funk.
To me, it was a game plan that would have been very hard for anybody to be successful at a high level playing the quarterback position. Yeah. Now, there's some things certainly that Garrett would come in here and he would own up to, certainly.
No doubt.
But when you go back and you watch the tape, the things that were designed for only specific parts of the football field were troublesome. Like trick 'em, high school Harry type stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was bad. I mean, the
third
offense
and 7 and throw behind the line of scrimmage, and dude, you've got pros at receiver.
Yeah,
pros, and you got a tight end that's an alien. There's not many guys walking the earth that look like Trey'Dez Green that have the skill set that he has. And you're running stuff at the line of scrimmage and you don't use the middle of the football field at all. And I'm not talking about your quarterback doesn't see it. You didn't run there. You didn't attack there. Like, even when Van Buren comes in, his first pass, like, he ripped it over the middle, but, like, even that was kind of, like, borderline, like, going down the hash.
Yep.
We're talking about the fastest way to the end zone. It's through the middle of the football field.
Yeah. And look, and there's a lot of times where you have, vertical routes, 3 vertical routes, whatever, and guys are supposed to run, they're supposed to run across the hash, across to the other side of the hash. And you got 2 receivers next to each other, just running down vertical. That's coaching. You got to have these guys understanding how to run their pass routes, how to run across the middle, versus different coverages. And so, it's a combination of everything. Like, this was building up. You could see this one coming from a mile away. The offense has been bad, straight up. Defense has been good for most part. They've been exposed recently. Fine, okay, got it. But the offense, you've been bad all season.
Yeah.
You've been even in the wins. But to their credit, they actually did a couple of things this past game that were a little bit better. We can start showing you a little bit of that stuff coming up. Like, we cut a lot of the RPO stuff out. Yeah. We had receivers block. We had receivers to the run side dig out safeties that had created explosive games.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you figure that out earlier?
Yeah.
We ran the ball, I think. Harlan Berry averaging 7 yards a carry. Then he gets 1 carry in the third quarter. I get it.
Second half.
Second half. Well, the fourth quarter. I mean, it's out of hand at that point. But like, what are we doing? It's just it seemed like the job was little above.
Oh, for sure.
Over his head a little bit there.
For sure.
So this one was obviously.
And he gets massed last year. You have a 4,000-yard passer, right?
Yep.
And so, like, you're like, okay, well, it's not complimentary offense, but hell, at least you can do that at a very high level. It's second leading passer in the country. But when that went to hell, what do you have? What do you have? You don't have a running game because you wouldn't commit to it. You got the running backs.
Yep.
I mean, Harlan Berry looks like he is a star.
Yep.
I mean, his patience, his suddenness.
And you can say, like, there's lineman issues, blah, blah, blah. Look around the country. There's people doing a lot more with a lot less.
Yes. That is very, very well said. So, Joe Sloan out as offensive coordinator. He follows Brian Kelly out the door there. So, we'll update you. We'll take a break. Maybe find out who the play caller is. I know Tim Rattay's name's being thrown out there. Atkins as well. We'll have all of it for you. It is officially? Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, there you go.
It's Atkins taking over the play calling.
And that's, somebody that I don't believe has play calling in his past. He's been a coordinator at Florida State.
No time like the present, Jake.
All right, we'll take a break. More to be.
Off the bench.
All right, go to trashrangers.com, trashrangers.com. If you're signing up for residential commercial service, you can do it right there on the website. Remember, they have roll-off dumpsters, 3 different sizes to choose from, so make sure you have the right size on your project. Call them, tell them, hey, here's what I got going on. Here's what I expect at my home, at my business. They're going to know exactly what size you're going to need. But don't worry, if you undersell it, you got more than you thought, more trash than you thought. Maybe you're cleaning out a house. Maybe you're looking for something. You're going to look for something new here coming up in the near future.
Hey, get a bigger one.
Get a bigger one.
Yeah.
They'll empty it and bring it back to you.
Hey, you got a little bit of trash, they got a little dumpster. You got a lot of trash, they got a lot of dumpster. So give them a call. They are Louisiana's a leader in trash removal, whatever it is, but also, they have the Trash Rangers Sanitation Department, which is their portable toilet business. So you can go there in their new renovated website right there, trashrangers.com. Check it out. If you have a festival, a construction site, whatever it is, make sure you go to Trash Rangers Sanitation. They are number 1 at picking up number 2.
From the locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
All right, welcome back in. OTB here live from the Raising Cane studio. In the next hour, we'll give you kind of some examples of what happened, what went wrong, what went right. although it wasn't a lot. At least in the run game, you had some right in the Texas A&M game.
The oop-de-oop.
They did run the oop-de-oop again. So LSU has fired offensive coordinator Joe Sloan. So it is Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan. Tight ends coach Alex Atkins will take over as offensive coordinator. And look, you got a couple of weeks. That's why you do it during the bye week. You got a couple of weeks to prepare for Alabama. Last time that this happened, remember, you go to Alabama, you were like a 3-touchdown dog, and you throw the ball in the end zone, you catch it, you would have won the game. Remember, Durante Jones came out with a hell of a game plan defensively. Alabama had no idea what was going to happen, and LSU got after them on defense. And it was actually one of the only times I can remember, like, even in a loss, like, being like, man, that was awesome. That was great. So, like, you're going to have the ability to have something that Alabama's probably not going to know what to prepare for. So, look, we're not even remotely close to getting ready to start to talk about that game, but that is going to be the situation. So, it is Alex Atkins that takes over as your OC.
Interim bump, baby. It's
And
coming.
We'll talk about it all in hour number 3 of OTB.
Off the bench.